Do you see these two wastes of human beings on the screen? These are the two parents that abandoned their kids in an apartment, killed one, and left them under a blanket to rot for almost a year. Let's go take a look at the video, shall we? Hey guys, so this is the topic that we'll be discussing today. Texas mother of abandoned children was afraid to report one died, court's records say. Gloria Williams and her boyfriend, Brian Coulter, were arrested and charged in the death of her 8-year-old son, Kendrick Lee. Let's see what the police department has to say about this case.
Patrol deputies and investigators responded to a gruesome child abandonment case. For many agency veterans, it was the most disturbing scene they worked in their entire law enforcement career. It seemed too horrific to be real. It's hard to even explain to you that feeling. Our investigators immediately began piecing together what happened and trying to unfold a seemingly senseless death of a child who was supposed to be loved and cared for, and trying to understand unspeakable living conditions for the dead child's siblings who were left alone for months to fend for each other. The mother of the children, 35-year-old Gloria Yvette Williams, and her boyfriend, 31-year-old Brian Ward Coulter, were located late Sunday night and interviewed by investigators before being released without charges. Now, I think it's important to note that at that point, it's still an ongoing active investigation. We didn't find them until late that night. And so we have to make sure that we're being thorough, not getting ahead of the evidence and the investigation that's ongoing. And so at that point, they were released without any charges.
Okay.
On Tuesday, October 26, 2021, the Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit charged the mother's boyfriend, Brian Coulter, with the murder of the child, who was confirmed to be 8 years old at the time of his death in 2020.
Mercy.
The manner and cause of death were ruled a murder by multiple blunt force injuries, according to the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences. The mother of the murdered child, Gloria Yvette Williams, was charged with injury to a child by omission and tampering with evidence.
As she should.
Both Williams and Coulter were taken into custody without incident by our Criminal Warrants Unit investigators, and this remains an active investigation.
Okay, guys, so that's what the police had to say about it. So let's read a little into this. So the article was written by Minnie Von Berg and the Associated Press. So the mother of 3 siblings found abandoned in a Houston area apartment, along with the skeletal remains of their 8-year-old brother, told authorities she did not report the death because she was afraid, according to court documents. The mother, Gloria Williams, and her boyfriend, Brian Coulter, were both arrested Tuesday and charged in the death of Kendrick Lee. Authorities believe Kendrick was killed around Thanksgiving last year. So this dead child has been living in the house for the whole year. Because it's November, Thanksgiving is around the corner. And this was October 28th. A criminal complaint accuses Coulter of kicking the child and striking him with his hand. It says Coulter intentionally, knowingly, and recklessly caused serious injury to Kendrick, resulting in his death. Before her arrest, Williams told investigators she did not report the death because Coulter had told her not to, and she was afraid she would go to jail and lose custody of her children if police knew the documents state. Look here. This lady thinks she's smart. You left the kids abandoned in an apartment for months. In other articles, she stated that she checked on them once every 2 weeks. Mind you, the boy that died, Kendrick, he was autistic, nonverbal. Even worse. And then you have this good-for-nothing boyfriend come in, beat your child to death, and not common sense, not motherly instinct, nothing in you came up and said, I have to protect mine at all costs. And especially him, since he's nonverbal, can't fend for himself, and you left kids in the house to fend for themselves with a rotten corpse of their brother. rotten to death in the same house. You must be the two sickest people I know. They need to find a hole under the jail to put y'all in. Disgusting pieces of human beings. This is ridiculous. So before her arrest, what? Oh, no, we already read that. Attorneys for Williams and Coulter did not immediately respond Thursday to a request for comment. After Kendrick had been beaten, Williams went into the room and saw him lying on the floor. Williams is the mama, Dum Dum. NBC affiliate KPRC of Houston reported after a probable cause hearing, the other 3 children, so it was 4 kids that she abandoned, ages 15, 10, and 7, had witnessed the attack and Williams made them leave while she fought with Coulter. The station reported, citing court documents that were read aloud. I think she lying. The 7 and 10-year-olds told authorities they saw Coulter use his fists and feet to hit Kendrick on his face, buttocks, back, legs, and testicles, according to the court documents. Oh, these human beings. Brian Coulter continued to stare at Kendrick as he kicked him, the 7-year-old said. Kendrick's eyes were black and he stopped blinking during the assault. The 7-year-old said they pulled back the covers and saw Kendrick was really dead and saw roaches everywhere on him, court's records state. No child should go through this. No child should be going through this, dying like this, have roaches crawl over your corpse in your mother's house, and this good-for-nothing woman had nothing to say to protect her kids. He told me not to. What is Let me keep reading. I apologize. Take a deep breath. The 15-year-old said Williams moved out of the apartment months after the fatal beating in March, court documents state. So you moved out in March and left the kids there with a dead body? Authorities were called to the apartment Sunday after the 15-year-old contacted the police and said his brother's body was in the room next to his. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said that the boy led officers to a crime scene that shook even the most seasoned investigators because of circumstances too horrific to be real. The dead child was found underneath a blanket. In the midst of the darkness and this horrific situation, I'm so glad that his 15-year-old finally reached out for help, this 15-year-old. Gonzalez said at a news conference on Wednesday. I'm glad that he found assistance at the end of the other line with one of our call takers. And I'm comforted to know that when he opened the door and there was a Harris County Sheriff Office deputy there, that they could finally receive the care and protection that they needed for so long. Wow. According to Gonzalez, the apartment was unfurnished, full of roaches and flies, and had soiled carpeting. The 3 children were thin, malnourished, and hungry, authorities said. Family members of Williams said that they had no idea Kendrick was dead and the other 3 children had been abandoned. They told KPRC that Williams was estranged from the family and only reached out when she needed money. There are people that are like that. They'll tell their family members everything is good just to keep them off their back. And in the meantime, it's all hell breaking loose at the other end. Every 3 to 6 months, she has a new phone number, said cousin Jasmine Craig. Every 3 to 6 months, she's moving apartments, so we never have a solid address for her. Craig said when they could reach Williams and they would ask how the children were, she would tell them that everyone was fine. She kept saying they're okay, they're in school. Anytime we did go, help and ask where the kids at, she would say, oh, they're in school. We never had an apartment number, Craig said. She would always be like, I'll meet y'all at the front of the apartment. We didn't think anything of it. The family said Williams has a total of 6 children ranging in age from 7 to 17. 6 children? but did not have custody of her two girls who were not in the apartment. Kendrick and another boy had autism. Two of the kids had autism. Jeez and peace. The family told the news station. According to Craig, Kendrick was mostly nonverbal. Poor thing. My mama has been asking for Kendrick since the day he was born, and she kept telling her no, Craig said. We knew that with all of these kids, eventually she was not going to be able to be the best parent she could be. The family said they will fight to get custody of the three children abandoned in the apartment. Look, I wish the best for these kids. I hope and wish they find a safe environment to grow up in and become better human beings than these two wastes of space they call parents. If I am dying to know you guys' reaction in the comment. Please share your reaction in the comments. So I want to have your take on this whole situation because I'm flabbergasted. Like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous that you abandon your own flesh and blood, your own kids that you carried for 9 months. You let a man come out of nowhere that's not even his daddy, beat him to death, and then cover him with a blanket so roaches and flies could run over him and eat his flesh. What is wrong with human beings? Some human beings are just a disgrace of mankind. Like, oh, but they're gonna get theirs. Like they say, God says in his own timing, in divine timing. I just need that timing to come right now so she can feel what it's like to be punished. Like, I'm dying to hear you guys' reaction to the story. Please leave your comments below. I always interact, and I want to hear from you guys to see what you think about this story. Okay, that was it for today's story, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.